Hi, folks. Good evening. I'm a high school teacher. I've been teaching. We're at a private prep school for about 18 years now, and it's a great job. I love. Well, I'm in the visual arts department, which is fine arts, performance, and painting, and all that stuff. But I'm the digital electronics guy. I teach digital media, video production, that sort of stuff. And so we in the visual arts department, we love working with the young people, and this school has a great bunch of kids that we're trying to figure out with them, you know, how they are as scholars or athletes or even as artists. So it's really a cool place and a cool sort of thing, and I love it, been doing it for so long. But when I started a few years into my career there, you know, I was this sort of electronic geek in this sort of bleh, you know, visual arts department, you know, whacked out people that ran the department and kids. And any high school worth their weight in salt has a whacked out, you know, blah, fine arts department, right? Okay, so I'm in this group, and these are teachers that would have, an architect teacher would have the kids build bridges and then smash them in the student activity center to see just how much weight they could hold. Or, you know, the ceramics teacher would have little fired trinkets that didn't kiln well, or whatever the term is for ceramics, and they would put them in the crevices of the academic building. Or you have lights and broken glass and tubas and skeletons hanging from the ceiling in the painting and drawing room. Crazy, crazy stuff. So, you know, I'm thinking, I'm a pretty contained guy. I'm in this introvert, in this extrovert world. You know, they like going blah, and I like keeping my videos in TV sets, boxed in, you know, computers with Photoshop. That's it, okay? Frames that are on an angle in the hallway, I straighten, you know, I'm that guy. So I'm thinking, you know, I want to be different. I want to kind of be like them. So what can I do to be more of this extrovert? And so it was a spring break. In fact, I'm on spring break right now, and I was thinking about this story about how, why don't I come up with an idea and do something when I come back from break? So I'm out trash diving, dumpster diving with my friend, you know, which is another thing I do with the extrovert or the introvert. And he picks up this Remington typewriter. It's a really cool working typewriter this year. This is going back 14 years or so. And it worked, and it's great. And I was thinking, you know what if I, instead of doing visual stuff with the kids, what if I did something with language and literary stuff? And so I thought, okay, if I get this typewriter, because it'd be better to use a typewriter rather than use my handwriting, and get some 3x5 index cards, I could have messages, write them out or type them out, and then take hundreds of cards and scatter them across the campus, you know, hide them in different places. So I thought, this is good, but since I can't write, I thought, who better than to steal, to butcher from the bard? So I'm thinking great Shakespeare quotes. Let me get his typewriter and start working on these index cards. And so I'm thinking, okay, got the typewriter here, going tick, 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 and it's like something like, oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest ting, heaven of invention. There's one, okay? A rose by any other name would smell so sweet, right? Ting, get these cards up, you know, give me another one. Oh, we have heard the chimes at midnight. Bing! And I get off dozens of these Shakespeare quotes from all the different plays, okay? And I stacked them up, and they were very neat, you know, and that was me, the introvert, and they were stacked in white piles. And I thought, you know what? There's a construction project going on campus where they actually found a time capsule. They were renovating the library. And so I thought, hey, you know what? Let's give a backstory to these cards. Why don't I age them, you know, get them crinkled and dirty and run over them with my car and rip them. And I even soaked them in coffee ground soup. Do you ever make coffee ground soup? I kind of soaked them for a few days. It was spring break, you know, so I had time. And so I aged them, and I burned the edges and ripped them. And so I had a great couple dozen or several dozen of these cards. And I was like, yeah, so now I have this backstory that these, you know, mystery cards with Shakespeare quotes will scatter about the campus, and the teachers and the students will see them and learn from them and think, my God, this is amazing. This is a wonderful performance, public space time thing that the Fine Arts Department has done. So I go there the weekend before spring break is over, and I hide them in the library books, okay? And I put one under a trash can and on a smartboard chalkboard and a regular chalkboard, and then the magazine rack in the big building, someone's desk over here, under a carrel, all over the campus. And then I was like, yes, let's see what happens. And so spring break is over. We get back to work. First day, I don't hear anything. Second day, nothing. Third day, whole week goes by. No one, I don't hear any scuttlebutt about these cards all over with the Shakespeare quotes. And the second week continues through. Nobody says anything. I'm saying, damn, Nobody likes my performance art piece. Third week goes by, still nothing, and I'm really pissed. I put a lot of my spring break time into this project. Should have stayed an introvert, maybe. So I'm looking around and I'm making sure that nobody, the cards are moving around a little bit, but no one's saying anything. I'm listening at the faculty lounge and the lunch table. There's nothing. I'm like, what is this dead-end school? No one's interacting with this. So I'm saying, okay, fourth week goes by, nothing. And I say, okay, forget it. I got to think of something else later on, whatever. So we have a faculty meeting that one Thursday morning in the dark theater where we always meet. And everybody does their administrative stuff, and the head of the school gets up and talks about a couple things, the project for the library, and then he says, oh yes, and there's one more project I want to bring up. And he pulls out the cards. And I said, oh my gosh, the head of school has my cards. He's going to say something about them. And he picks up one and it says, come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day. That's from Macbeth. I was like, yeah, Macbeth, he's got one of my cards. And then he reads another one. I am but mad, north, northwest. Hamlet, awesome, he's reading them all. And he said, does anybody know anything about this project? And I said, I didn't raise my hand. I wanted to know where he was going with this. And then he read another one, and he said, fair is foul, and foul is fair. That's another Macbeth quote. He said, Well, we know that we do a lot of wonderful things here at the school, the head of school says, and we're just a little bit concerned, and I say concerned, and I just kind of do one of these in my seat and with all the other 100 teachers, not even knowing it was me with these cards. When something like this happens, and we have to be very sensitive to our client base and be aware of all the problems that might incur. I said, what are we talking about here? Then he reads another one, I am but mad, north, northwest, that was Hamlet, right? And something like, here I go again, forgetting quotes, but it was bad. It was very bad. And he says, a parent of a student brought these to me. I said, a parent got involved, and the student came upon this child, girl or boy, I didn't know, came upon these cards. One was here, one was there, and it was this sort of succession of really bad quotes that this poor kid came upon. These really dark messages from Shakespeare, but I didn't mean that. Where was, we are such stuff as dreams are made of, from The Tempest. How come the kid didn't run into that one, for crying out loud? Anyway, I was sinking in my seat a little lower, lower, lower. And of course, the faculty were saying, buzz, buzz, buzz. Oh, yeah, I saw these. They were over here. They were there. Nobody said anything all week, And the buzz is happening. And I'm thinking, well, I'll just tell the headmaster after this. And then quiet them down, after the meeting. I didn't want to make a big stink. And he said, we just have to be really careful around this time of year. And I said, well, what does that mean? It's like, unfortunately, as he went on, it was the 1-year anniversary of the Columbine incident in Littleton, Colorado. And I sank. And I was shaking like this in my jacket in the theater, and nobody saw me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And of course, the buzz gets louder in the room. And they're saying, this can't be happening at our school, the teachers. And rightly so, they were very concerned. We were all concerned for our kids. Here's the problem right here. And I'm thinking, no, but it's okay, it's me. But I didn't say anything. And they're like, we have to have a special assembly. We have to get to the bottom of this. And I'm like, no. And this fervor came up, and I just said, stop. I said, pardon. We shadows if we did offend, or however you butchered Shakespeare. Excuse me, head of school. Those cards you had, did they look anything like these? Did I pull out another stack of them that I was going to send out again, this one with Milton and Kerouac and Bronte and all these other great quotes. And the place just looked, and it was sort of like this, and this balloon of laughter fills the room, and I'm standing there shaking, and they realized that it was me that had placed all these cards out, and I'm shaking, and they're laughing at me, hysterical. And after the meeting, I go up to the headmaster, and I say, please, sir, tell me the parent, I'll talk to the kid. He said, no problem, Mr. Hoban. We have it taken care of. We know it's not an incident. And I'm just shaking after this event. And everyone's laughing at me, saying, no, there goes Hoban again, doing that stuff, And the English department head pulls me aside and says, better a witty fool than a foolish wit. I said, 12th night.